take a couple minutes today and talk a little bit about the new year and starting things off well for success. And as is typical, I'll start off with a story about Jack. It's, New Year's Eve, fantastic New Year's coming up. Jack, just like he does every other year, sits down to start writing his New Year's resolutions. And as he's going through, there's some pretty good stuff on the list. Make more money, spend more great time with the family, bigger house, things like that, right? Like, who wouldn't want most of that stuff? But as he was sitting down and writing, he realized this is the same list from last year, and it's probably going to be the same list next year. And he felt like he was just kind of spinning his wheels. He was making maybe some progress here and there, but a lot of goals just kept coming up over and over and over. He needed a different perspective. He needed a different approach. So instead of having New Year's resolutions, my suggestion is twofold. The first is, instead of having a goal for the year, have a big picture, emotionally driven vision for your life. 10 years down the road, what do you want your life to look like, and why is that important to you? Sit down and write that down. From there, and that's the first part, the second part is simply think about, okay, here's where I'm at in terms of my vision right now. If I were to push myself 3 months from now, what would that look like? And then just come up with specific and measurable goals for 3 months from now. That will get you closer to that vision. And the reason I say 3 months, and this comes from a book, The 12-Week Year, excuse me, is that if we say, hey, I have all year to do this, we're probably going to delay and not work as assertively towards those goals as we could. But if we say, hey, I have 1 month to get, well, that doesn't account for different things coming up. If the plan seems good initially and we realize we need to change it, well, we're not going to have that flexibility if it's only a month out. 3 months gives us enough time to start working the plan and seeing if it's effective, and gives us time to change the plan, while also being close enough that's easier to kind of project what we need to do and how to get there. And then, and here's why this can work really well. Well, that's only 3 months out of the year. Yeah, absolutely. But once the end of March shows up, you repeat the process. Is this vision still what I'm looking for? Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic. Then come out with that process again based on where I'm at now. 3 months from now, what can that look like? And what can happen is we can actually hit our goals a lot sooner, because we're not waiting till towards the end of the year. We're starting now on those goals. It also allows flexibility at the start of 2020. Everyone thought that year was going to look a lot different than it did. But by breaking down into quarters, okay, the first quarter went well. Second quarter, everyone had to make all these adjustments. Okay. But by planning out 3 months at a time, if life happens either really good or really not so good, it gives you a chance to adjust and adapt and still get back on track for that vision as much as you can. So back to Jack. Jack is sitting down to raise New Year's resolutions and realize, man, these are the same resolutions I had last year, probably the same next year. So, you know what? Why do I even care about these? And he took that question seriously and wrote down, here's what I want to get from life. Here's what's important to me. He said, man, what do I need to do from here to get this done? And started planning out, here's what I'm going to get done. If it took him a year, it takes him a year. If it takes him 4 months, it takes him 4 months. If it takes him 3 years, it takes him 3 years. But he's making progress, and that year is going to be a phenomenal year for him, because he's getting so much closer to this big, important, meaningful vision and goal that he has for himself. So make 2022 an awesome year for you. My suggestion is that you break it down and not try and have massive one-year goals, but smaller goals that lead to this massive vision for you. Again, I hope you have a wonderful 2022, and I'll definitely be around with more Facebook Lives.